morning. Good morning. Happy New Year, y'all. Happy New Year. This is my first video for the new year. So I am going to briefly talk about bridging the gaps. Okay, that's what came to me actually before the new year came in. But I decided to talk about it, something fresh. Something fresh coming into the new year. So bridging the gaps, that's that space in between that keeps from us having connections, right? From obstacles, challenges, stress, dysfunction. As many of us know, we have become more aware and knowledgeable of things in our families, things in the world, things that have taken place that we didn't know before. So when you know better, you do better. In order for something to change, something has to change. The hard part that has been challenging for myself and then some individuals that I know, or the people that I've even heard speaking, is dealing with, your past, dealing with trauma, dealing with things that weren't discussed in your family, being overlooked, right? Sometimes going through stuff or dealing with, issues, we normalize so much, and that's dysfunctional in itself, to where we don't talk about it or deal with it, but then we just keep going, like deflect, like our parents or, the world, would deflect or change the subject or distract us from dealing with the issues at hand, or the root of what really has been affecting people. Okay, so it's always a counter action. When God is moving, of course the enemy is moving also. So that comes still with attacks, spiritual warfare, things of that sort. But as far as bridging the gaps, of course, and that's with the S, that's plural, so that's more than one. Is first and foremost God, our relationship with God Almighty, the Most High. Many have missed it, or felt like they could just straddle the fence, or it's not that deep, it's not that serious, I can go on as business as usual, and not bring about any change, or say I serve God and I love him, but I'm still doing me. As believers, we strive to change, right? And we strive, right? Your forward momentum. We make the initiative to make a difference in ourselves, make a difference, in our families. But first and foremost, you got to work on yourself before you can help anybody else. But in the process, God has been equipping us. He's been teaching us, schooling us, honestly giving us grace and mercy. But we're at a time now where everything costs. And thinking that you have time, or, you can play ignorant, or I didn't know, may cost you more than you bargained for. Even those who think they good, because the Bible even talks about no, not one. Nobody's so good that you can't be touched, or you so good that you don't make mistakes, or you're so perfect. It was only Jesus, right? And I tell folk, you ain't Jesus, I ain't Jesus. So you're human, you still make mistakes, you still fall. But it's the getting back up and acknowledging, hey, I missed it, I need help, or addressing whatever areas you need to address, making the necessary adjustments in your life. So like I said, first and foremost, God, that was one key point. Your relationship, your intimacy, right? Your own personal relationship. Then family, restoration, right? Biblical marriage, a man and a woman, is a part of the bridge. Okay, I've heard a select few other individuals that have talked about the bridge. So that even shows me confirmation how God is speaking through his people and dealing with us as far as internally, our spirit man. So like I said, restoration, family, okay? Boy. Also, Judah and Israel. We've seen a separation not only in family, and many can identify with this, but we've seen this especially in the black communities, and different black people groups, right? As far as the division, different things that have influenced how we treat each other, how we look at each other, how we function, how we move, the love of money, so many different things that have played a factor in the Black communities, right? So not only have we had a separation as far as broken homes, and, you know, again, let me say this, there are many individuals in the Black communities that did not know, that are becoming more aware, that are paying attention to things that they experienced in their own homes, in their own life, and wanting to do different in this generation, okay? But you've had some that did not know, you know, didn't become aware until later, as far as generational curses, familiar spirits, on top of just natural things that we've seen as far as the breakdown of the home. Many were not aware. We weren't taught these things, and it's expected for you to just do, but everybody didn't know, right? And we've also been taught to just deal with the pain, deal with the pressure, deal with the dysfunction. And now we see a generation that has been traumatized, that's, you know, going through so much, while the world and even our own culture, we brush it off and overlook it, but then are confused by different things that are happening in our families and our communities, the uprising and the death tolls. You know, nothing's by coincidence. These things are happening because we didn't want to deal with the real issues. We kept brushing stuff off. So as I said with Judah and Israel, the African Americans, and the correlation and the connection, come on, because we connected, with the Caribbean and the Haitian and the Jamaican, God's chosen people, put it like that. And this isn't for everybody, right? God gives us opportunity, and we know those things, but that will not save your soul. It's a part of unity. First and foremost, God's showing us his unconditional love, that he has loved us this whole time, and we have been missing it. But we can't do as a people what everyone else does and get away with it, because to much is given, much is required. So the enemy has used so many different tactics and plans and plots and schemes by using people to have us so desolate, deprived, thirsty for more, thirsty for money, thirsty for love, for fame, seeking all these different things instead of seeking the Most High. It's cost many loved ones. It's cost many mental dysfunction, hurt and pain, you know, even from trauma on different levels, folk being touched by loved ones and different ones, you know, different things that we didn't want to discuss and talk about. Those elephants in our families, those elephants that are stampeding throughout the world, in the church, you know, just different areas. Also bridging the gap with the church, because the church is many members but one body. The word even talks about, who is my brother, my sister, but those who do the work of the Lord. So that's no respect of persons. That's no based on just color. Right? So God is bridging the gaps. But at the same time, the enemy always is crafty. He's always busy. He's always sending distractions. Things that set us backwards instead of going forward. So yes, of course, it's still going to be a bumpy ride. But of course, with God, all things are possible. This is why it is vital and mindful. Be mindful of who you're connected to, as far as your relationships, friends, people, family, being around people that are really, honestly, have your best interests at heart, discerning folk, because everybody's not going to be happy for you. Everybody doesn't want to see you grow and progress. You will have some people, even in the church, even in our families, in the world, in the nations, where they are comfortable with your stagnancy, with your lack of growth and your deficiency and your dysfunction. They're comfortable because when I can do that, I can control you. I can manipulate you. I can be comfortable in my lifestyle. So then you see a generation that has still become, you know, desolate, damaged, and broken. We see the heightening of the wickedness and the shadiness and, you know, a lot of stuff, you know, I ain't gonna say a lot, but some things come from, like I said, people's internal issues. the things that we deal with amongst ourselves, as far as the competition, and somebody's always worrying about what people think of them, and you know how folk do. These are things that we already know. These are facts. Like, these are things that we know, things that we see that have been continuous. But now, what you do, how you move, how you treat people, it can cost you a lot more. For one, because of judgment. It would be nice when you could just sing and, you're not accountable for anything. But just as well as God holds his people accountable, he holds the wicked accountable. He holds our leaders accountable. Many have gotten intrigued with motivational speaking from preachers because you don't want somebody to hurt your feelings and tell you the truth that can save your soul. That's a problem. So as I said, God is bridging the gaps. You make a choice and a decision. Do you want change? Do you want different? Sometimes somebody's going to tell you what you don't want to hear. If it's out of love, it's to help you. So let ride. I love y'all. Be blessed, and I will talk to y'all soon.